is down. One more to go here at sunny Paul Ricard in France for the third outing of the season for the Spanish F4 Championship in 2024. Hello again, everybody. Scott Woodward here to guide you through the action for today's race. And of course, after two very intense races with plenty of talking points in both, it's time for the drivers to step up one more time here in the sunshine as they line up for race number 3. Qualifying for this race took place this morning. The grid is set by the results from the session earlier on in this morning today. And it's Checkered who took the quickest time in the session to go fastest by only 10 thousandths of a second, 0.010 from James Agozzi, the Red Bull-backed US driver for Campos Racing. Keanu Alazari is in third on the grid alongside Alessio Rivera and Matteo Colnaghi. But as we get ready for this third and final race, Alex, the temperature is getting hotter and hotter, it seems, by down there. The track temperature 41 degrees, 26 degrees centigrade. Must be feeling a bit warm down there on the grid.
It is getting really, really hot in here. We were checking with some of the teams. They are registering numbers of 43 degrees on track, almost 30 in the air. So I have to tell you, if I'm feeling the heat that I'm feeling right now, I don't know how the drivers are going to deal with this for the next half an hour. We know that these guys are top athletes and they're used to this. But my God, if this isn't going to be a challenge for them today.
Yeah, certainly a challenge for plenty of them. Let's look at the grid in terms of where drivers are. Better sessions for the likes of Maciej Gladic as well. Keanu Alazari starting in third place. Double winner Matteo Colnaghi has to try and go for the hat-trick from fifth on the grid this time by. Again, the biggest, I don't want to call him loser, but the biggest one that really didn't work out in qualifying again, Lucas Flusha. Where's his luck gone this weekend? He's up there second in the championship, but just nothing going right for the Spaniard. He got taken out at the final corner on the second race. Didn't even start the first race. Just everything he touches goes bad.
It is really an unfortunate weekend for him. He's been still competitive, but maybe because he hasn't been at the usual positions that he would like to be, he has been in a place where accidents are more prone to happen, and we have seen that. When you are around the top 10, close to the top 10, 7th, 8th position, it's always a bit more risky, and we've seen that during the weekend. It's unfortunate for him. He's still, far ahead in the championship that he can come back from this, but it is a challenge. But anyway, let's take the chance to talk to Maciej Gladic and see what he feels before the last race of the weekend. Maciej, great pole position earlier. Starting from pole, what are your expectations for the race?
Win, of course. Last two races went good. Finished 4 and 3rd. Second race, I don't think so. We had a good start. I had wheel spin. And yeah, now starting on pole, so if we do a good start, I think we can win, so because the pace is there, and yeah.
Thank you very much, good luck. And these are the words of the man starting in pole position. He has done a great job in qualifying, and of course there's a few drivers behind that could potentially challenge for the win. So let's see how these guys manage this, how guys like Keanu Alazari managed to come back from a difficult first race. He's been on the podium earlier in the season. He wants more points. He needs them. And let's see how the race is going to pan out.
And one final thought on this one, Alex. Is there any drivers on this grid from qualifying this morning that you think are a bit out of position? We talked about Lucas Flusha. Any drivers that are higher up than you expected or lower than you expected that could make an impact or have a tough time in this third race?
I'm mostly impressed by the performance of Maciej Gladic because he has been quick. We know that he has been quick, but I think the lap that he put in qualifying today was outstanding, and it was really impressive to see him clocking that time just at the last minute. So let's see how he managed that. Let's see how James Agozzi manages his race as well. We could have a nice duel on our hands, so I think that could be the hottest point of the race.
Yeah, you're right. James Agozzi starting on the front row of the grid already has a podium to his name this weekend after that duel with Juan Cota. Juan, incidentally, is down in 15th place, the Spaniard. Just carted off on their formation lap. Thanks very much, Alex. Good to hear from you once again. We'll hear from you at the end of the race once more on the podium for the top 3. Have a chat with them, find out who they are in 30 minutes plus 1 lap's time. So the cars then head off onto their final formation lap of the weekend, at least their regular formation lap. And in terms of the grid, let's run you through from top to bottom. So after qualifying this morning, it is going to be Maciej Gladic who starts on the pole position for KCL MP Motorsport. He is only 100th of a second quicker in qualifying than the Red Bull-backed American driver for Campos Racing, James Agozzi. Championship leader, Chiaro Alazzari, has been on a bit of a comeback trail since he finished way outside the points in the first race, got himself a strong result in race number 2, and then he's now starting from the second row of the grid in third alongside Ernesto Rivera for Griffin Call by Campos. Double race winner this weekend, Mattia Cornaghi. He's now going to start from P5 on the grid for this third race alongside Griffin Peebles for MP Motorsport. Thomas Strouven, better qualifying this time for the man that came into the weekend third in the championship. He starts 7th alongside Mattia Quintarelli in 8th. Then Jan Przowski and another better qualifying from Tim Gerhardt, but a bit of a dizzying heights for him. He starts in 10th to round off the top 10 runners. Then Nathan Ty and Andres Cardenas take the 6th row of the grid from Ranier Lammers and Gabriel Gomez. Followed by Juan Cota again on the podium in race number 1, but not so much the same pace in race 3 there. Then we have Mikael Pedersen and then Lucas Fluscher back in 17th place. Just as we mentioned there with Alex, every bit of luck he could have is all bad. He had that damaged rear wheel that saw him barely off the line in race 1. So he was out of that already, trying to pick his way through, was around about sort of the mid-pack. And then it had the incident at the end of race 2, who dropped all the way down to just about outside the top 20, which really meant he's scored nothing so far this weekend. He really has to try and get something, get into the top 10 if he can get a good start. He starts alongside Ivan David, who was out on underneath the safety car on the restart when he had tangled, it looks though, with Adam Alazzari by the looks of it. So he will start this time from 18th on the grid. Then it's the 10th row of the grid to round up the top 20 with Enzo Tarvanichkal, the Thai driver, and Francisco Macedo from Portugal. Then it's Adam Alazzari in his first weekend of car racing, and brother of Keanu Alazzari starting 21st alongside Dewey de Decker, then Peter Buznellos of Australia, and Adam Hideg of Hungary, Christian Cantu of Mexico, and Matthias Rieber of Slovakia. Danny Reed of Germany alongside Felipe Fiorentino, followed by Preston Lambert, who was involved in the last corner incident on the first lap on the first start of race 2. He starts alongside Rem Hakim. Also involved in that was Maximiliano Restrepo. He's also had front wing problems. He starts 31st. And Alexander Jacobi, Lorenzo Castillo, Leah Block, who had a great finish at the end, finishing in the top 20 in race 2 after she picked up all the way to 20th on the start of race 2. And then Victor Dobrzansky right at the back for Technicar in 35th. And last but certainly not least on this mammoth Spanish F4 grid. As I mentioned before, 23 different nationalities represented so far this season, all across the globe. Lots of top teams in the mix with MP Motorsport, Campos, Rodan, Santalock, MP Motorsports, TC, DriveX, and the lot. So, cars into position. It is on the right-hand side on pole position. Patrick Gladic for KCL MP Motorsport. James Zagotzi in Red Bull colours for Campos on the front row. One more time in France at Paul Ricard. Race 3 of the weekend for Spanish F4 2024. Lights out and we're racing. Clean start for the front row from Zagotzi. He goes level now with Gladic down towards turn 1. Also watch for Alazzari. He defends to Rivera down towards the first corner at the Rivalries for the first time. In towards turn 1, side by side for Malid, and it will be Gladic who turns into P1 through the S-bend for the first time. Zagotzi in second, Alazzari third, Rivera still fourth, Cornaghi fifth. All grid positions as they were so far. Now the attack on the outside line. Look at the inside there was Zagotzi almost tapped the back of Gladic's car on the rear wheel, but he holds on to second place. Through Virage de l'Hotel, through the Comp corner, and now through up towards Saint-Baume and onto the Mistral straight for the first time. Still looking for that move potentially for the opening lap here. Everyone mind their P's and Q's. 1 or 2 cars running wide in the background. 2, 3, 4. All safe and sound through onto the Mistral straight for the first time. Good to see. A couple of cars towards the back. No, one in fact actually see a car actually in the back. One of the DriveX cars is stuck at the exit of Comp corner before Saint-Baume. That's a yellow flag down there, but we'll get to that in a second. 2 and 3 abreast. I think it was 4, 5 abreast in the mid-pack. Amazing battles on this first lap, but already Magic Classic still in the lead from James Zagotzi in second place. Someone skipped the chicane. Was that Alazzari? Who was that? Someone skipped the chicane. Didn't quite catch who it was. It might be Thomas Strouven, and the car that stopped is car 19. And that is... car 19 is Matthias Rieber, Slovakian driver who started in 26th position, but he's already looks as though hitting stripe, could be out of it already. They're just pushing the stricken car away. Can't see if it's damaged or not, I'm not sure, but lots of battles towards the bottom of the top 10. Looks like we've got Strouven, Quintarelli and Przowski in the mix there for 7th, 8th and 9th. It's a turn out of through Virage de Bondor, through Cub de de Galaban and up towards the Virage de la Tour for the first time under racing speeds. And Glatchek trying to extend an advantage here. He wants to get a victory. Kolnagi has 2 victories. He wants the hat-trick. And as for victories, now Maciej Glatchek has not taken a victory so far. His best result so far has been somewhere on the podium. He's taken a 2nd place also so far this season at Jarama. He could get his first win of the season here. We had Maciej Kolnagi with his first victory yesterday. Doubled that up earlier on this afternoon. And now, is there a chance for another new race winner? That would make him the 6th different race winner this season. Just showing really how competitive Spanish F4 is this year. Lots of diversity in nationalities of driver. Plenty of competition. Going into the weekend, we had no less than, what was it, about 8 or 9 drivers on the podium. We added 2 more in James Agozzi and Juan Cota. So I think podium finishes this year into double figures. Down the back straight. So Gladish leads, Agozzi 2nd, Alazari 3rd, Kolnagi 4th, past Ernesto Rivera. Then Quintarelli 6th, Griffin Peebles 7th, then Ty. Gerhard's up to 9th after he started in 10th, so he's up a position. And Jan Przowski, the Polish driver, in P10. As for Lucas Flusha, man 2nd in the championship coming into the weekend, still down in 16th. So I think it's safe to say that Paul Ricard is not one of his favourite circuits. Here's the start. So a clean getaway from the inside or outside of row 1 for James Agozzi. He pulled level. Also, that was Alazari covering off from Rivera into the first corner. Can't see if there's anything further back that suggests whether there was any contact. There were 1 or 2 cars that ran wide, maybe to avoid the spinning number 19 of Matis Rieber. Out through Bondor. Through Courbe de Galaban. Out towards the end of a lap for lap number 2. Remember, it's 30 minutes this race, plus 1 lap, which means that unlike race 2, they will get, essentially, 4 points here. So a win does earn you 25 points. 18 for 2nd, 15 for 3rd. There's 1 car running wide there on the exit. That might well be Cardenas, I think. And who was that? It might be Gerhards, in fact, actually. It's Gerhards who was battling with Przowski. He ran wide. Has lost a place to the Polish driver who's under the Griffin Corbet Campos banner. The Monlau Motorsport car, the Dutch driver, back down to the base of the top 10 where he started. So the first couple of laps, everyone just feeling each other out a little bit here. There's no overly dramatic moves just yet. Just trying to keep a good pace here. Settle in for the first couple of laps. It's not frenetic. It's not dramatic. It's not everyone getting a bit overexcited and crossed up with themselves because it's the final race of the weekend. Just settling into this 3rd race now. I imagine we will see 1 or 2 moves, but this is looking like a pretty straightforward race so far. Let's just wait and see. Now, 1 car on the pit lane is 37, Filippo Fiorentino, the Brazilian driver for Cram Motorsport. Sadly, problems for him means he's out of the race by the look of it. Look up there from Rivera. He chases double winner Maciej Kolnagi. The young Italian putting in a good performance so far. 2 wins under his belt this weekend. His first 2 Spanish F4 wins. Looking for a 3rd. And they're coming to the pit lane. Who was that coming to the pit lane? That was one of the, I think that's one of the Monlau Motorsport cars. And that was Hakim by the looks of it, I think. Yeah, Rehan Hakim in car 74 is coming to the pit lane. He's down towards the bottom. Other drivers we seem to have lost and not come through properly. Juan Cota is one of them. Juan Cota we lost out in the early stages. Also, we lost as well was Preston Lambert, the American driver for Rodan. So what a great weekend for Rodan for them. And Filippo Fiorentino in the pit lane also. So 4 or 5 cars have had... well, Preston Lambert didn't start. I think that was a result of him having damage from the first lap collision in the first start of race 2. So because of that, he hasn't taken the start for race 3, sadly. We've lost Rieber and Cota. Fiorentino in the pit lane. And Hakim's just been in the pit lane for his issue too. This is looking further back. This was a lock-up there for car 4. That was Juan Cota. And he's still going. But it's showing that he stopped, according to the timing screen. So not moving anymore by the looks of it. It's where that is, I'm not 100%, but it's showing that he's not running anymore, unfortunately. So Gladish now has a lead of just almost a second. James Agozzi, who's got his tail up now, he's got the confidence to get himself a podium finish. He did so in that first race, battling with Juan Cota. Pinched it from him with a couple of laps to go. Now he's on course. That will certainly please the Red Bull squad. Just starting to group up here now for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. You can see that Gladish is trying to pull away and pull a gap here and get away by over a second. He's done that now. 1.1 seconds to the good in this 3rd race of the weekend. In terms of lap times and keeping an eye, fastest man of the top 5 was Maciej Gladish, but then the next 2 fastest drivers, interestingly, in the tops were Ernesto Rivera and Maciej Kolnagi. So these two might start to go to combat. They're very close together, nose to tail through senior. That could be a move that's imminent. No deal just yet. But essentially 5 different teams there. Yes, it's a mixture of Camposh and MP Motorsport, but still, there's kind of satellite teams or second teams for MP and Camposh that are in the mix here too. Because you've got MP Motorsport, but it's 4 different teams in the first 5, because there's 2 of the KCL MP Motorsport cars, both of which are in 1st and 5th positions. And they sandwich the James Agozzi Campos Racing car in the Red Bull colours. And it's the top of the regular MP Motorsport main team of Keanu Alazari and Ernesto Rivera in 4th. Crossed the line with about 8.5 minutes to go, gone in this race. Still 21.5 minutes to go, plus 1 lap. Looking at more lap times as we come onto lap number 5. He still has a 1.2 second advantage now as they come up towards the tight, twisty section of Virage de l'Hôtel, and then through Virage du Camp, then Virage de la Sainte-Baume. That's the key corner that you need to get a good run off of. Out of Camp and then Sainte-Baume all the way onto the back straight, which is where you can really get yourself locked into a slipstream. Still 1.2 seconds, the gap between Gladish and Agozzi. Still Alazari, Kolnagi and Rivera, and the closest battle appears to be in terms of track position. It looks like it's the closest between this man Kolnagi and the man right behind him, Ernesto Rivera. There's Rivera, the Mexican driver, trying to prove his ability. The next group behind him is headed up by Matteo Quintarelli in P6 for Santaloc. And that's between Quintarelli, Peebles, Ty and Przowski. And that's over 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th. With Andre Cardenas rounding up the top 10. And the third of the Griffin Corps by Camposh cars, because their leading car is Ernesto Rivera. The rest of the pack goes pouring through. Very little battles and little battle packs of 2s and 3s and 4s all together. Oh, there was a change there in the background. That was between 2 of the Camposh cars. I think that was Nathan Ty and Jan Przowski. I think that was a change for 8th position between the 2 of them. There were 2 Camposh cars, definitely wheel to wheel, exiting Virage de Bon d'Or. So there's, I think, change between 2 teammates there. That would have been behind both Quintarelli and Peebles, and Nathan Ty, I think, yes, is up a position. So Nathan Ty ahead of the other Camposh team, which is called Griffin Corps by Camposh. Work their way through the S-bend. Now down towards the complex at the Le Hotel. And there they go again. That's a scrap there between still Ty and Przowski. I might want to change in a second. The time screen's got a bit mad in front of me here. I think it's because Quintarelli is... There's a few cars that have got slightly dodgy transponders, I think. At least something's happened major. I don't think it has. I think it's just the transponders just being a bit iffy at this point of the day. It's the last race of the weekend entirely. So the order's stabilising a bit on the timing screen. And Agozzi on this lap is winding it back in slightly. The gap is now a fraction over 6. Now less than a second, in fact, because he's brought it back in the second sector. He's better by 2/10 so far this lap. So Ragozzi looking now for his first victory. Here's a stat for you. Gladish hasn't won an F4 race in Spain. Ragozzi hasn't won a Spanish F4 race. There goes Juan Cota, who is still running, even though the... Yeah, he is running now. The timing screen is now updated. It was showing him as stopped, but he has now carried on, thankfully. So Gladish, as I was pointing out, hasn't won a race. Ragozzi hasn't won a race. Alizari has won 2. And Rivera has won a race himself as well. Colnagi's now won 2. Quintarelli in 6th. He's yet to win a race. His best result has been P4. So, if he finishes in P4, this would be his best result since Haraman race 3, when he picked up 4th place. So he had quite a rocky Portimao round. Couldn't bet a 16th. So that meant no points for him. Approaching half distance now. Gladish, Ragozzi, and Alizari, Colnaghi, Rivera lock up there for... Was that for Griffin Peebles, I think? Because that puts Przowski and Ty on his tail. Because he's lost ground to Quintarelli in P6. Just wonder if people are just struggling for tyres now, considering that if you look at the track temperatures and air temperatures, track temperature now shows 41 degrees on our timing screen. Air temperature showing us 26 degrees, and the humidity that we had this morning has just evaporated. It's now literally, it's gone down to 46%. And the winds are a bit stronger out there as well, so it's a bit windier there too. So whether or not that's going to be, depending on the direction, a headwind, a tailwind, or a crosswind, one of the 2, one of the 3, might be affecting possible overtaking opportunities. Gap between the top 2 is still under a second. It's still 0.8 between Gladish and Ragozzi. Alizari's a further second back. He knows at the moment that he is crucially outscoring Flusha and Strauven and Rivera and at the moment Colnaghi and Nathan Ty and Przowski. He's outscoring all his championship rivals at the moment. So even if he doesn't get the victory, 3rd place might not be so bad. It's closing in through Debose. It's Griffin Peebles under threat now for Jan Przowski. He wants that 7th position. It's the proper age-old scrap in this championship. MP versus Campos. We're at it again. Back into Virage de la Tour. Back to Virage du Pont. End of another lap. This will be now lap 8. 7 laps in the books now. And down the pit straight they come once again. So, checking with the top 10. Gladish still leads the race. Ragozzi in 2nd, Alizari in 3rd, Colnaghi 4th, Rivera 5th, Quintarelli 6th, Peebles 7th, and Przowski, Ty and Cardenas. That's the top 10. And quick check in on Flusha. 2nd place in the points. Not really that much more progress. 15th. And he's stuck behind Jovan. He's 2.8 seconds away from Jovan David at the moment, who himself is trying to get into this little pack of cars ahead, which also comprises of Strauven in 13th, Gomez in 12th, and Gerhardt in 11th. And Gerhardt himself is only half a second away from Cardenas, which means he will be breaking into the top 10. Now here's something interesting. James Ragozzi has found some pace here, because he's now less than half a second behind Gladish on the just past the halfway mark. So then, the question has got to be here, does James Ragozzi have enough to close in, to challenge, and to take the lead from Maciej Gladish? The field makes its way up towards Senior. Flat out running, that's a fantastic corner, Senior. You get it right, picking the right car. So amazing to see. There's Juan Cota that we saw another quick clip. So we've seen these little quick glimpses of Juan Cota on his own down in 32nd position. It's a shame that he's down there, but at the moment, at the same time, he's not doing too much. So our focus remains on the leading groups. There could also be a battle brewing just in the background there between at least Colnaghi and Rivera, but that's been brewing for the last few laps since the start of the race. And if Alizari's not careful, he might start to close in, or be closed in on, by the 2 cars behind. And it could become a 3-way fight for third. There goes the top 5. And Quintarelli, Przowski, Peebles, Ty. That's been a change. So Peebles has lost out to Przowski. That's now Polish driver up to 7th and the Australian down to 8th. And Nathan Ty is still 9th from Cardenas, who is still holding on from Gerhardt, Gomez, Straubman and David. And still Lucas Fluscher, no higher than 15th. 12.5 minutes plus 1 lap. And the slide there, I think, from Checkered, Gladish. And remember, these top 2 have not yet won a race in Spanish F4. Either of them takes the victory, it'll be their first in the championship. That's what's at stake. Egotzi's been on the podium once this weekend. Matchek has only been on the podium once all season. And that was at the second race at Jarama. So how much would he love to secure what's been a pretty competitive weekend? He's been pretty confident talking to Alex and saying, you know, we've got the pace, we know how quick we are, just need to hook it all together and have the luck in order to be able to pick up some good results. It really has been starting to work, and that pace he's been showing has been pretty genuine. It's not been, hasn't all been talk. Not that we thought it was, but Gladish is looking good. He took pole in qualifying this morning. Big lock up from James Egotzi. He'll run wide. That's how hard he's pushing. It's just cost him a car length or so. Closing in on the back of Gladish for the lead. Just sense that potentially Alazari, Colnaghi and Rivera are just laying in wait. Like prowling lions, waiting for either 2 of the cars in front to make a mistake, a slip-up, to have an issue. And they'll be there in a flash to take full advantage. Not much over 10 minutes left to go in this final F4 Spanish Championship race of the weekend here at Paul Ricard, their second away day. Here's a fight. This has been brewing. Mr. Rivera around the outside. Brilliant move. And Esther Rivera lines up Mattia Colnaghi in towards the first S-bend. Round the outside he goes, and here comes Colnaghi on the retaliation. He squeezes him towards the white line. Covers the defensive, but Colnaghi won't give it up. He's back down the inside towards Virage de l'Hotel. So a forceful pass from Rivera, went round the outside. And I don't think Colnaghi, the double winner from earlier on this weekend, appreciated that too much. But pass is a pass. And up into 4th he goes. And Esther Rivera, the Mexican, up another place inside the top 5. Now then, next target, unless he's under threat again from Mattia Colnaghi, is to try and catch up to Keanu Alazari, who is in a little bit of no man's land. He's got a gap to the cars behind, but also a gap to make up to the cars in front. So he's got some work to do to get himself back in contention. He presses on. Meanwhile, Rivera is doing everything he can to pull away now and hold on to the position. And here's a replay. So this is what happens. So Rivera goes to the outside, almost dummies a little bit before he thinks to go back to the inside line. It opens up the outside run, and through he goes. But the better exit on the switchback from Colnaghi helps him try and pull alongside. And that's what saw him wheel to wheel and almost with 2 wheels literally over the white line to try and retaliate. But he knew if he tried to dive up the inside and make a desperate move, it wasn't going to work. Speaking of moves, could be seeing one here for the lead because James Egotzi is as close as he's ever been onto the tail of Matchek Gladish. Has a look. He thought about it into Virage de la Tour. That stick. He's not going to go diving down the inside into Virage Dupont either. And again, the harder these 2 fight each other, the easier it is for the likes of Alazari or Rivera for Colnaghi to come back into contention. There's still 8.5 minutes and change to go, plus 1 lap. Still time for things to change. So the top 2 now, nose to tail. But they'll know, or maybe they won't, that Keanu Alazari is just lurking and waiting in the background. He senses an opportunity, and he will go for it. A little further back, some more of our runners in battles of their own. But here's the main focus, the main fight at the front between Maciej Gladish and James Zagotzi. This is Poland versus USA. It's MP Motorsport versus Campos. It's been that season-long battle between the two of them. And Alazari's not too far away. Down towards the chicane in the slipstream down the Mistral straight. Here comes Zagotzi. He's got the run. Does he dare go down the inside or outside? He thought about it. Takes the regular racing line. He's all over the gearbox now. As looking to the second part of the S, he's over the curb he goes. But can't get it done. It was a bit cheeky trying to make that pass there, I think, from Agotzi. Wasn't really going to make that stick unless he was all the way alongside around the outside. So sits back and tries again. But look who's in contention now, because Chiara Alazari, what did I just say? The harder these two fight each other, the easier it is for the cars behind to get involved. And look at Chiara Alazari, the orange MP Motorsport car. The man who led the championship coming into the weekend. I think he still does, incidentally. Because none of his big rivals really took any major points from him. Matti Kolnagi's taken both victories. So that will be Kolnagi taking more of those points. Rivera, of course, has got past Kolnagi already. So it's all changing around in the top 5. The final couple of corners to the end of another lap. 6 3/4 to go, plus a lap on the clock. Top 3, line astern, down the pit straight once again. Gladish, Igotzi, Alazari, then Rivera, Kolnagi. For 6th, it is Brzozowski, who's got past Quintarelli whilst we've been watching this. So upper place has gone another of the Campos cars. Quintarelli down to 7th for Santalock. And then it's Ty, Peebles and Cardenas in the top 10. Igotzi's having another go. Just lining up the pole to try and displace him from the lead. Through Virage de l'Hotel, through Virage de Comp. Back towards Virage de la Sainte-Baume. The curb on the exit, nice and clean, nice and tidy. I have to say, Agotzi is looking as racy as he's ever been and as close as he's ever been. But the pair of them have got to watch out for Chiara Alazari because he might tell it for the advantage and he could push himself into the mix. All 3 cars, line astern, in a tow, down the Mistral straight towards the chicane. Is this the chance now for Agotzi to get past? Can he dart to the inside or outside towards the chicane? He's getting close under braking. The rest of the field goes pouring through. Still nose to tail out of the chicane. Back onto the Mistral straight. Now we've seen passes at Senior or onto De Bose. Alazari's moving out. Here they come. And we thought about it, and Agotzi has to take a second bite of the apex there. The car was wiggling around mid-corner, and he runs too deep. But has that put Gladish offline as well? It might well have done. He's wide on his approach. Alazari takes the very wide line, looking for the massive undercut and the quicker exit off the corner. But somehow they all fight to live another day. So right now, Gladish has this race under control, but he's coming under big pressure from both James Agotzi in the Red Bull-sponsored Campos car and Chiara Alazari in another of the MP Motorsport machines. Remember that Maciej Gladish, his car might look very similar to the Campos cars, but it's not. It's actually cars run by kind of like a second team for Campos, KCL MP Motorsport. I think it's for them to be able to run more cars in total. So MP Motorsport currently holds on to 1st, 3rd and 5th, separated by 2 Campos machines of Igotzi and Rivera. 4 1/4 minutes plus a lap. And this stalemate between the top 3 surely has to break soon. Something has got to give. Into Virage de l'Hotel. A little wide on the exit there on the apex from Gladish. That might give Agotzi the chance he needs again. Now Alazari's quite close too. You can see in 3rd place. Is he going to have a go now? Again, he's just sat there, waiting, patient, biding his time, looking for the opportunity. Down the Mistral straight again. Is there any chance now for any position change here between the 3 of them? Alazari will have a double tow from the 2 cars in front. Still, Gladish holding on for looking for his first Spanish F4 victory. He got to what's his as well. It's a good exit from the chicane. He darts out. If he leaves, if Gladish leaves the door open. It'll be a prime opportunity for Gotsi to go through. Goes one way, then the other. Through Senior they go. Who comes out on top of this one? And the answer is, at the moment, it's still Gladish, but they're all together. There's a big lock-up from two of them. Into the second part of Debose. Again, Alazari takes the wider approach to the apex. Tries to straighten the exit. Get a straighter, faster run towards the left-hander at Bondor. Out of Bondor. Through to Courbe de Galabin. Back towards the Virage de la Tour. And back in towards Virage Dupont. It's Alazari on the attack now. He's under threat. You just sense there's something bubbling away here between these three. Something's got to kick off at a moment because they're running out of time in laps. So that we're going to get, I think, 3 more laps in fact, because it's 2 minutes 22 on the clock and lap times are in the 2 minutes 7. So 3 more laps. 3 more laps for James Igotzi to try and take the win, or for Keanu Alazari to hoodwink both of them. And keep an eye on the cars behind, because Ernesto Rivera's not too far. He's only less than a second off this front 3. He's broken away slightly from double winner Mattia Kolnagi. He could make it a 4-way scrap for the lead. Something's got to give between these three. They're so evenly matched. One slip, one mistake, one lock-up, one stamp of the throttle, one twitch of the car as it wheel spins and twitches its way out of the corner and gets loose. Just something. There has to be an opportunity here. This is the tensest fight for the lead we've had all weekend in Spanish F4. Once again, Gladish not comfortable. Weaves one way, then the other, trying to break that toe. And Rivera's there. Look at him. He's latched onto the toe of Alazari. He's in this lead fight now. Down to the chicane. And still, Gladish holding on. A little wide on the exit there. Slightly tighter run off the corner there from James Igotzi. And here he comes again. You just see them bobbing along in the heat haze as they come towards Senior. And it's to the outside line again. Defending. Igotzi is as close as he wants to be, but he knows Alazari's there too. Is this the moment? Looking up the inside possibly. Again. Gladish going so tight into the corner to hold on to that position. And it's backing Igotzi up into Alazari again. And keep an eye out for Rivera. He's brought that gap down by about half a second. It was just under a second. It's now half. 2 more laps to go in the books. Someone has to come on top of this one. Is it Gladish? Is it Igotzi? Is it Alazari? Is it Rivera? Is it somebody else? Again, Gladish defensive on the run through the right-hander at Virage Dupont. Now back onto the pit straight. Rivera's there now. And I tell you what, Kolnagi's not far away either. Down the pit straight. And now, again, Gladish under threat. Defending from Igotzi. Down towards turn 1. Can Igotzi take his Campos car down the outside? It's possible. Down towards the right-hander of Verari. Going around the outside in the first part for the second part. And goes across onto the runoff area. Too tight. Couldn't make it stick. Keeps his throttle in. He can't take the place. He'll go side by side. Here comes Alazari. 3 for the lead. Down towards the complex at the hotel. Gladish sweeps across and takes the lead and holds on to it. Here comes Igotzi, runs out wide. Alazari round the outside. Igotzi fights back on the inside line. Alazari runs wide. But round the outside he goes. And it's second place. Alazari's done it. Keanu Alazari, championship leader, is into second. And now could be on course to challenge for the lead. You couldn't get it done, James. Now watch this. And now Igotzi under threat from Rivera now. Down towards the S's. Side by side for third. Igotzi holds on for Rivera. Down towards Senior. Top 5 altogether now. Gladish, Alazari, Igotzi, Rivera, Kolnagi. He's in the mix here too. He's part of this. Top 5 covered by 1.2 seconds. Could it be the top 6? Because look at Quintarelli. No, that's Przowski, in fact, actually. Jan Przowski, it could be a 6-pack with a lead with a lap and a bit to go. Is Keanu Alazari, who started his weekend losing his front wing here in race 1 and scoring no points, could he end it on a high to retain and maintain his championship lead with victory in race 3? Into the Virage Dupont. for the second to last time. One more lap of the weekend to settle it. No, it's the checkered flag, in fact. They throw him a checkered flag, and it's Maciej Gladic who will win his first race in Spanish F4. Well, it said the final lap, but it's not. It's the checkered flag, in fact. So Maciej Gladic takes the victory. Carlo Alazari in second place. Rivera third. I'm confused because the timing says it's the final lap of the race, but the checkered flag's gone out. Well, they're carrying on anyway, so I think it's gone out a lap early, I think. They haven't meant to throw it just yet. I think they thought there was one more. There wasn't one more lap. I think they're going to carry on anyway, so slight confusion, but we'll carry on. So Gladic then continues to lead the way. Alazari in second, Igozzi third, Rivera fourth, Kolnagi fifth, and Brzozowski sixth. 6 of them for the lead in the podium. There was one car in the background. He skipped the entire section of... That was Camp and Saint Baume. Completely skipped it. Now then, Igozzi's lining up for second place here to get it back. Down towards the S-bend, to the chicane. I think they're carrying on because they realise it wasn't the checkered flag. It wasn't the checkered flag. That confused me no end. And the timing screen says it's the final lap of the race. So, down towards Senior for the last time. Where does Gladic go? He goes one way, then the other, defending from Alazari, then from Igozzi, then back to the championship leader. Igozzi back looking for second place. Rivera there in fourth. Kolnagi, Brzozowski. Brzozowski has the fastest lap of the race, apparently. He does. 2 minutes 8. No, he doesn't. It's still with... Yeah, he does. 2 minutes 6.694. So he'll get the extra point, but through the Beausset for the final time. Up towards Virage de Bondor. Lock up from Alazari looking up the inside. Couldn't quite get it done. He's going to be under pressure from Igozzi all the way to the checkered flag. Will there be a last-ditch move? Last of the late breakers into the final corner. Gladic continues to defend. Here comes Igozzi. He gets defended on. Was there contact? I don't think there was. Out the final corner. Now they get the checkered flag properly this time. And Maciej Gladic will this finally take his first win in Spanish F4. A thrilling race 3. And Gladic does it. Maciej Gladic wins his first Spanish F4 race of the season and of his career. Carlo Alazari second place. James Igozzi third. Then Rivera fourth. Kolnagi fifth. And Brzozowski in P6. The top 6 covered by 1.9 seconds in the end. Real fine racing from all of them involved. Behind them, 7th place goes to Quintarelli, 8th goes to Nathan Tye, 9th goes to Griffin Peebles, and 10th goes to Tim Gerhardt as well. Considering Tim Gerhardt, his best result to date in the season, up to this point, was 24th position at Jarama. He's had a storming weekend, one of the best weekends. Admittedly, he didn't start well today with the incident he had at the end of the first lap, which caused the red flag at the beginning of race 2. But still, recovering to P10 after a very strong qualifying session this morning is just reward. It's not just one new race winner we've had this weekend in Mattia Kolnagi, it's 2, because Maciej Gladic certainly will be delighted with that. And he said before the race, he knew he had the pace, he knew the car was good, he knew he was in the mix to get a victory. And he made it happen, and he really had to get his strongest defence out and hold back the tide of attacks from Carlo Alazari and James Igozzi. Also in the mix there too were Rivera and also Kolnagi and Brzozowski as well. Brzozowski's also confirmed as the fastest lap of the race, 2 minutes 6.694. Amazing job from them. What an adventure that's been for Spanish F4. Of course, they went to Portimao for the first leg of their away days from Spain. And then it's the Castellet and Paul Ricard in France. Of course, the championship now moves forward back home for its final 4 races into the second half of the season as we go midway through Aragon. It'll be Aragon first, and that's coming up, as we see here in the pit lane. That's the highlights of race number 1. So that was Ernesto Rivera getting the best of luck. Off the line, it was a strong start for Gladic, who held the lead despite challenges from James Igozzi, whilst Alazari also picked off Rivera for 3rd place. That wound its way through the opening couple of laps, and it was Gladic in front. He did have initially a bit of pace, whilst problems of Juan Coza meant he was on a race of his own, but way down the order and far back down the field. In the early stages, Maciej Gladic did have the advantage. We'll look at more of those highlights shortly, because our drivers are coming in off their cooling down lap. I think that there is our double winner, Mattia Kolnagi. Might be disappointed not being on the podium, but still, 2 wins from the weekend. That's a solid job, and he'll certainly enjoy himself from that. As I mentioned, coming up next at the end of the month in a few weeks' time is the trip to Aragon as we go back to Spain for the rest of the season. Motorland Aragon on the 26th to 28th of July. Then it's Ricardo Tormo Valencia on the 13th to the 15th of September, excuse me. Been a long weekend. Then it's Circuito de Jerez on the 4th to the 8th of October. And the season finale at the home of the Spanish Grand Prix, Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia in Montmeló. That's on the 8th to the 10th of November. And we will then, if we haven't already, crown our 2024 F4 Spanish champion. So third for James Agozzi, second for Chiara Lazzari. This man is another new race winner in Spanish F4 for 2024. He is now our 6th different winner in the season. Chiara Lazzari, Lucas Flusha, Thomas Strauben, Esther Rivera, Mattia Kolnagi, and now Matthias Gladish. Well, KCL MP Motorsport, but actually, they've dominated the weekend. The KCL MP Motorsport wins in all 3 races. 2 for Kolnagi, 1 for Gladish. Strong work for MP all round, I think. A bit of conversation there between Gladish and Agozzi. That's some of the in-track battles. But still, Matchek will be delighted with that. He gets the hug. And the high fives from his team, and I think of him as some of his family members and friends. Really good result for Matchek. And again, that'll give him some good points in the championship. He came into the weekend 8th in points. His best result of the season had been a 2nd place at Jarama. So he's had a bit of a slightly lean spell. Yeah, he was outside the top 10 in 3 races of the last 5 before the weekend. And then coming to this weekend, he certainly has covered himself in a bit more glory this weekend. If we look quickly back at his results from race 1 quickly. The race 1 he finished in 4th. And then it was race 2. I want the race 2 result, but it's not coming up on the screen. That's interesting. So yeah, race 1 got 1 2. Yeah, no results there, so that's weird. Anyway, so good results from Matchek. Some more discussions there with his team about some of the battles on track. So good stuff from James Agozzi. He came into the weekend 9th in points, and before the weekend hadn't even stood on the podium. But he's got himself 2 rostrum finishes, a 2nd and a 3rd. That will certainly be handy for him in terms of championship points. And Chiara Lazzari, a little bit of damage limitation. Of course, after his non-score in race 1, after he damaged his front wing, he then had to pick his way through the pack, keep himself in contention towards the front. And now, 2nd place is certainly a silver lining to end a mixed weekend for the championship leader. He wants to hold on. Right, let's see how our brand new race winner in Spanish F4 feels about that victory. And he will have a chat in a second with Alex Garcia. He gets the congratulations from Chiara Lazzari. Let's chat to our newest race winner in Spanish F4 for race 3, Matchek Gladish. And he's down there with Alex.
New Formula 4 Spanish Championship race winner, Mathias Gladish. What an amazing race. That was one hell of a fight for the last third of the race. How was that?
Yeah, the start was quite good. Then I managed to get a gap. But after, I had a bit of problem with the car. I had a bit of oversteer. I got caught. But then was quite good. I was defending quite well. And I didn't get overtaken. And the last lap, I saw my teammate was having a battle with James. So I gave him a tow. And we won together, P1, P2. It's an amazing race. Good points for the championship, and looking forward to next night in Motorland.
So that was not just your own victory, it was a team victory, and you even had the brain power to help your teammate. That's pretty much something.
Yeah, I was trying to help my teammate on the last lap, and I'm very happy. And I think for Motorland, I'm driving with big confidence because to this weekend I was not really confident because of the pace we had in Portimao, but everything worked well on Saturday and today. So massive thanks to MP for a great car this weekend and just everyone who supported me.
Great, congratulations. James, what a race. That was something to witness on track. Pretty hard fight. I know that you would have wanted to win. What are your thoughts about this?
Yeah, obviously I'm not happy with the way it ended. I was hoping for more, and I know we could have gotten more. Ultimately, the pace was there, which was not initially. The MPs were a bit quicker, but then towards the end, the Campos came in, and we were able to contend for the lead. And I'm just looking forward to carrying this momentum to the next round.
I saw that you were talking with Maciek just now after the race. What were you talking about?
The incident on T1 where I had to cut the track, but we were just talking about the circumstances.
So good sporting relationship between the three of you in the podium, isn't it?
Yeah, all is good.
Good, congratulations to the P2. And good luck for the next one in Motoland.
Thank you very much.
Here's some of the highlights from that entertaining and energetic third race here at Paul Ricard for F4 Spanish Championship. It was all about that battle at the front between eventual winner Maciej Gladish with James Agozzi, Keanu Alazari going round the outside through the right-hander at Comp, taking up second place and the mantle to try and challenge for the victory. Wheel to wheel between second and third there. You saw Agozzi just trying to get the pace back again, lurching up the inside but couldn't get it done. In the end, it's a brand new race winner in Spanish F4 for 2024. Our sixth different winner, of course, is Maciej Gladish. It was Ernesto Rivera who's getting the encouragement in the beginning. Here's a reminder again of how it started. So side by side down towards turn one, but it was in fact Gladish who held the position with Agozzi in second place, Alazari third. As they turn their way through. Juan Cota had issues of some kind, which put him way down the order. Podium finisher from yesterday in race one, out of contention. Initially, it was Maciej Gladish who had this under control. He had the gap by about a second and a half or so. There was lockups there for cars further back as they turned through. That was Griffin Peebles, I think, having an issue. Alajari kept the pursuit up, as did also the winner of the first two races, Mattia Colnaghi, and in there too, of course, was Ernesto Rivera. And as that battle continued on, more scraps down towards the end. But this was the fight here as James Agozzi closed in throughout the second half of the race to make himself a real contender for victory, with Maciej Gladish trying to have to look in his mirrors a little more often to see where Agozzi was going to try and crop up. Lock up there from Agozzi showed he was pushing, but that simply just put him back into contention as Alazari, Ernesto Rivera and Colnaghi battle amongst themselves. Rivera, meanwhile, took a great outside pass into the first S-bend, held the place up front ahead of them. It was strict defence from Maciej Gladish. He eventually held on for the victory. So our final podium of the weekend for F4 Spanish Championship here at Paul Ricard in France. First of all, we're going to welcome the representative for the winning team, which of course is the team of KCL MP Motorsport. So, handy weekend for the Dutch squad all round, I think. They'll pick up the winning team trophy on top of that as well. In fact, there it is. Just waiting, I think, to either present the final the trophy, or at least to, and that's their social media. I thought she was holding a trophy. It's the selfie stick with her phone. Again, it has been a long weekend. So, waiting for our top three drivers to come to the podium. So, James Agozzi, the Red Bull-backed youngster from America, steps onto the third step of the podium again. Disappointed to miss out on victory, but still performed pretty well, and he will take that confidence into the next rounds back at Aragon when the championship returns back to its homeland.
Hemos tenido un último tercio de carrera increíble entre este top 5, hasta 5 pilotos, como has visto, peleando por la victoria, y ese duelo entre los dos primeros clasificados.
Result in the end. For second place, they're going to welcome up championship leader Keanu Alazari. It's a definite silver lining for what's been it started tough, but got better as the weekend went on, and a highlight of a second place for him. So he'll certainly be delighted by taking something of a decent result away for second place. But a brand new race winner, our sixth different winner of 2024. It is Maciej Gladish from Poland at the top of the podium for KCL MP Motorsport. And certainly happy with his first victory in the championship. And in a moment's time, you can hear it, we will have the national anthem for the driver from Poland in honour of Maciej Gladish. Polish national anthem for race winner Maciej Gladish, and thoroughly deserved after an amazing run. And what a result that also was, of course, Ricard Alazari flying the United Arab Emirates flag as well. The winning team trophy once again goes to the representative from MP Motorsport, and pointing out all those who helped them get there. Now we move to our driver in third place, James Agotzi's second trophy to take home back to the US at the end of this week. Again, so that'll be some handy results, I'm sure, and Red Bull, I'm sure, will be impressed by the results, as to will Campos. And James Agotzi accepts the third place trophy, and certainly happy to do so. Of course, first is better than second or third, but of course, at the same time, trophy is a trophy. And great job from him to be in the mix and fighting until the end. Championship leader Chiara Alazari, he's used to be the silverware by now, and he takes his second place trophy. And again, as I said before, it's the days where you don't win, when you try to maximise your point score, that's what wins you a championship. And so you might have had a tough start, but certainly that would have been a nice comeback for him to be able to hold on and take as many points as possible. It's always quite special when you get your first win in a championship. And it's happened here today, once again, for Maciej Gladish of Poland for KCL MP Motorsport. Two different race winners throughout this weekend. Him and Mattia Kolnagi in there too. And I think they're desperate for a bit of champagne, a bit of fizz to cool off. We can't really call it properly champagne, given that, of course, it's there might be one or two younger drivers on the field here. But what better way to cool off after what's been a very, very hot day and a very hot weekend. The information on the track tells it's still 26 degrees out there, so I think I'll be pleased with a bit of a soaking from some of the fizz out there. And they celebrate what's been a very entertaining, very competitive and very action-packed 3 races of the F4 Spanish Championship here in its second and final away day weekend at Paul Ricard in France. The championship now returns back home for its final 4 races meetings of the weekend season, starting with Aragon at the end of July. What a fantastic three races we've had and a fantastic couple of days we've had here at Circuit Paul Ricard. Thanks to everyone involved in the championship and at Circuit Paul Ricard. Thanks to our production team as well. Thanks to Alex Garcia, who's been down on pit lane with us as well. Normal service will be resumed next time when Jake Sanson takes back his spot as commentator. I've just been keeping it warm whilst he's been at the British Grand Prix this weekend. Before myself, Scott Woodward, first of all, thank you for watching. Thank you for everyone involved for having me on board to stand in for Jake this weekend. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and hopefully it's not the last time I'm back on the microphone here for Spanish F4, Euro Cup 3 and beyond. And again, all of us here, congratulations to all the drivers who scored podiums and race wins this weekend in Spanish F4, and we will see you next time, just a few weeks' time, on the 26th to the 28th of July at the Motorland Aragon for the 4th meeting of the season for Spanish F4 in 2024. But for now, until then, thanks for watching, take care, and bye for now.